My name is Mike Oliver. I am your uncle. My brother is your dad.
Yep.
I was married in 1974, had one daughter, Sarah, who lives in Tennessee now, and I was remarried, divorced and remarried in 1995, and we have no children from that marriage. I was born in Golden, Colorado in 1954. At the time, my dad was out of the service. He had just gotten out of the Navy, and he and my mom were married, and he was going to school at the Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. No, we're not the first generation. I am not sure either on my dad's side or my mom's side who the first one would have been born in this country. Not sure. On my dad's side, I know that we are basically German heritage and more English heritage on my mom's side. I was probably, I was 9 years old at the time. I was in the fourth grade. I remember it very well only because our teacher, Mrs. Haymore, announced it to the class. It was on a school day, and she started crying. And I think all of us in the class were too young to really understand what was going on, but it was a pretty profound day. I remember my mom and dad were pretty upset that night when I got home. And I remember news coverage seemed like forever of the whole thing, the shooting and all the talking heads on the news and everything else. I think the whole world kind of wept over that. I think it was a sad day. I think in a way that people have lost faith in the government, specifically over the Vietnam War. I think it became way too politicized. I think the military has a proud tradition, and I think the military in the Vietnam War was not allowed to do their job. I don't think the government knew what they were doing. It became too political. There was too much in the news about it, too much public opinion, and I think public opinion, because of what the government was doing, was ultimately turned against the military, and the whole thing failed. I think we failed miserably in Vietnam. I'm not sure why we were there. I think it was political going in. I think it was political coming out. And I think, I don't think the military has ever quite recovered from that since that day. And it's even worse today than it was back then. I think that was an amazing day. I think that was a remarkable feat. I think it began with President Kennedy when he made the promise, when he made the statement that we were going to be the first one to put a man on the moon. And we did. In 6 short years, essentially, we accomplished that. And I think that was a real boost to this country, both in stature and just achievement. I think it was an amazing thing. Unfortunately, I don't think we followed through in later years like we could have. Now, I think that was an event that affected the whole world. You know, that was a long-standing Cold War issue from after World War II, and I think that was a real accomplishment of President Reagan, able to break that down and reunite Germany like he did. I think that was a momentous occasion. I was working out at Cuesta College, and I got to work that morning, probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that. And everybody that was already there were watching on TV in the meeting room the events of September 11th, and the ongoing news about how the first trade tower had come down, and of course the second one came down later that day. I think that was a really sobering moment
Yeah.
in the history of this country. I think it was an eye opener. I think it was a sad state of affairs, but I think it was good in the sense that it united people, if temporarily, in this country toward a common cause. Yeah, I think so. I didn't go to college like I had planned on doing after high school. Instead, I joined the Navy, which, on hindsight, was a great move. I had a good career. I ended up doing 23 years in the Navy, and I don't think I would change a thing in that regard. Maybe if I had to do it over again, I would have gone to college, gotten a degree, and maybe tried to be a fighter pilot. That would have been an outstanding job. But the job I did end up doing in the Navy was great, and for that I'm very thankful. As far as family goes, I've got a great family. I wouldn't change a thing there. I wouldn't have minded having more kids in hindsight, but 5 grandkids fills that role real nicely. For that reason, the one child we did have worked out good. Got great nieces, great nephews, and that helps, round out my family. Get to see our family a lot. Wouldn't change a thing there.
Yeah.
Whammer's not too bad. So for that, I'm very thankful. And I think the American dream is still alive and well. As long as as long as people choose to pursue it, I think this is still by far the greatest country to live in. And glad to be here, proud to be an American citizen.